We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Kirsch and Emyle, New Country, fewer commercials, New Country 103.9. You are giddy about this whole thing, Emily.
About this announcement we announced yesterday? That makes sense in my head before I said it.
The announcement we announced.
Yeah. Yes, I am, because I'm happy. I love it. I love when the band gets back together.
Tell everybody what's going on if they didn't hear yesterday.
I love that Woody is back on air with us here at Country 103.9. And you know, he's obviously known around Columbus because he was on another country station for years.
Right. And he's going to be joining us starting next week. We talked to him yesterday, and here's what he had to say about that. We asked him why he's coming back.
Kirsch, it's a great question, and I've had that conversation with myself briefly. I've had it with my wife, Risa, and I've had it with John Boy Crenshaw, who has made all this happen. And the why is because... well, really, why not? That's what I had to ask myself.
Right.
Because they made it possible for me to do what I've loved to do my entire life since I was 16 years old, but just felt too burnt out to do when I stepped away in December of 2021 at the other country station. I knew I was never going to do mornings again. I made that very clear to other overtures. And I thought I was done. I told people I was done. I told myself I was done. But when they said, how would you feel about afternoon drive back in the city you love in Columbus, Ohio? And I said, give me a minute. I think I would like that a lot. And the other appealing thing is people like you and Em.
I was going to say,
There's
I think
8 of them with whom I worked for a number of years, some of them 20 years, who are now in the North American Broadcasting building. And I will say, it is so exciting for me to be working for a family-owned company. The day I signed my contract last week, I got a text from Mr. Manick, the owner and CEO of the company. I worked 24 years for the other company across the street and never met the owner. This already feels more like a team to me than any employer I can remember. So I had to reconcile a little bit. Do I really want to jump back into an everyday routine? But the truth is, when you do mornings like you two do, you don't have room, if you're doing it right, for a hobby. So here I get to the end of the road, and I said, I'm going to take up golf. Well, I forgot what a bad golfer I was. So golfing more than once a week for me isn't appealing. Now, I am getting better, noticeably better. But I guess the reality was, listen, I love this. I love what I'm doing. I felt an intrinsic connection with the Woodheads, and many of whom have kept in touch with me. And that's the why, really, because I've never not loved radio. I just didn't love the 3 a.m. alarms and what the toll it was taking to my body.
It's Kirsch and Emyle. We're talking with Woody Johnson. We just announced this morning that Woody is on his way back to Columbus starting next week here on New Country 103.9. Woody, I want to go back to something you mentioned a few minutes ago because you and I have a very similar story. We worked together for years at another station, and when I was asked to exit in 2020, I nearly walked away from radio. I said, hey, I had a good run and I was going to move on, but I was given this opportunity to work here at New Country 103.9 and for our sister station here. It is interesting. Not a lot of folks know that North American Broadcasting, the owner of New Country 103.9, is local here in Columbus. We're locally owned and operated, and I don't think there is a broadcaster in Columbus who's as woven into the fabric of the city as we are because of that.
It further pumps you up every day. You got to feel good about who you're working for.
Yes.
And it's going to really feel good to feel good again.
Absolutely.
So,
I will tell you, can I tell you the worst part about working at New Country 103.9?
Please.
You have to work with me.
Well, fortunately, you're on in the morning, and I'm, for most of your show, might still be asleep, but always thought you were a terrific talent. And Emily, white people elsewhere didn't recognize your sweetness and your talent. I don't know.
Thank you.
Because here's what I am. I kind of live life on my sleeve. If I'm pissed off somebody, you're going to know it. I don't get that way very often, but if I'm really happy, you're going to know it. And I'm real, just like you listening right now. I'm a real guy. I'm a real person, and both of you are also real.
So when is day one that you're back on air here in Columbus?
I guess it's Monday the 22nd. Monday the 22nd.
A week from today.
3:00. Yeah. And then we have Christmas in July, a week from Friday.
Yeah, you'll be here. You'll
Friday,
be here with
yes.
all of us collecting for Nationwide Children's Hospital, which is such a cool event. And it'll be good to connect with Woodheads who are coming back to see you. Come by, see all of us. We'll be here for it, and I'm excited for you to see how cool of an event this is, and how much work everybody around here does put into it. And you'll see how things are done right, and now even righter, if that's a word, with Woody on afternoons here at New Country 103.9. Emily, I cannot stop laughing about the fact we were so. Let me let you in on how this conversation evolved. I was talking about the fact that in the Kirsch house we have a Roomba. The auto vacuum that goes around, the robot vacuum, and it vacuums and cleans everything up. And
I said that must be nice when,
Right. And I said, you know what? Treat yourself. Buy a Roomba. Get one. And you said, you know what? That actually sounds like a good idea. Then it all went downhill.
Yes. So then I was talking to my husband about it over the weekend, and I was just, filling you in on that. And I was like, I asked the president if I could get, if we could get a Roomba, because it's a nice price tag, so you have to discuss those things, right?
Yeah, I mean, the cheap ones are $400. The expensive ones are $1,000. We don't have the
I thought it was way less than that. Okay, so he said no, and you said.
I said why? Why did he say no?
And I said I don't know. I stopped listening after that. I really don't know why he said no. I did stop listening.
He gave you reasons, though.
Yes, he did. And I don't know what those are, so I can't provide those answers.
Does that happen often? I just want to know, like, when he says, no, we're not doing that, do you just shut down and you don't hear the rest?
I mean, yeah, or just I just forget about it, I guess. But, I'll call myself out. It's fine.
No, we're not getting one. I don't even care why. We're just going to move on.
Yeah, I can't be the only one in marriages who does that.
Oh, no, I guarantee that happens more than any of us would like to admit. But
I'd like to know the reasons now. Yeah.
You know what I start doing when I at home, when I know I'm being tuned out, because it happens. I live with 3 wonderful women.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
It 100% happens. When I realize I'm being tuned out, I start saying absolute nonsense.
Oh my gosh, he does that too.
Does he really?
Yeah, and then I go, wait, what? And he's like, you didn't listen to a thing I just said. And I'm like, no.
I do the same thing.
Or I'll try to be like, yeah, I sure did. Because I hear one word and try to think about what it could be.
We'll be in the middle of it. Like if you said, hey, I want to get a Roomba. And I was like, no. And then I started giving you reasons and I saw you tune out. I would be like, well, yeah, you know what? We already have a vacuum and it works perfectly fine. And I'll go ahead and vacuum. And then there's cow drool on the hood of my car. And I don't know how that got there because the football players came running through the house. And the next thing you knew, the bank robber showed up and you'd be like, what? Wait, what did you just say? Yeah, I'm glad I'm not
exactly
the only one.
Yes. And that might have actually been the reason, though. So thank you. I was listening.
Dang bank robbers. Cow drool on the. Okay, so turns out.
Listen to your spouse is the moral of the story.
Getting you started on Tuesday morning. The trending topic for Tuesday, it's all over the place. The fact that death comes in threes when it comes to celebrities. And we just lost Richard Simmons and Shannon Doherty over the weekend. So
Richard shocked me. But Shannon, unfortunately, did not because she's been battling cancer.
Right.
And I think she was unfortunately ready to pass. But Richard, it just shocks me for some reason. I feel like because he was just in the news about his biopic or whatever that was Pauly Shore wanting to play him.
Yeah, and he said no. He said no to that, right?
Right. And The death comes in threes. That freaks me out every time. But here you are putting pressure on me. Like, who's going to be next? And you know what? I just never know.
Well, first, hang on. Richard Simmons, let's talk about that for a second, because Richard Simmons was in the forefront for a long time and then just completely disappeared. And everybody was like, what is up with that? And then I guess he was out of the public eye for that long time. Then in recent months, he upped his social media presence, including a message in March saying, quote, "I have some news to tell you. Please don't be sad. I am dying." So
I missed that.
Yeah, that's the first thing he, came out with publicly in years. So I guess it shouldn't have been a surprise. I guess he was sick. I'm not sure.
Do you ever find this stuff weird, though? 'Cause it was a day after his 76th birthday.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people pass around their birthday, which is sad.
Yeah.
Is the third one Dr. Ruth by chance?
Yes, it is.
I mean, maybe it happened in threes. Dr. Ruth, Richard Simmons, and Shannon Doherty. Do you know who Dr. Ruth is?
I do, because I feel like her name was just everywhere.
Yeah, it was like the 80s. I feel like she was on Phil Donahue in the 80s all the time.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know what you just said, Kirsch.
I don't, actually, but I'm going to pretend I do.
You're like, what words were those?
I can use this thing called Google.
There was an old school show on in the afternoons where when I was, I don't know, a kid, my mom would watch a guy named Phil Donahue who hosted a show, and I feel like Dr. Ruth was always on his show. And she had her little, was she German or Hungarian or something? She had this cool little accent, and she was a sex therapist, and she was hilarious to listen to.
That's what everyone says. I never actually listened to her. I just knew the name.
Oh, yeah. So maybe that's the third. Hopefully that's the three. I don't want to see anybody else go. I thought it was Friday yesterday.
Are you okay?
I am a mess this week, Emily.
I mean, are you doing okay over there?
No. No, I'm not, but it's okay. The Ohio State Fair kicks off next week. We're giving away tickets all week. You can win those again tomorrow. We already did that this morning. But the fair foods this year, they're kind of weird.
So before we get to that, I did see that Ohio is number 2 that loves state fair food, and that does not surprise me at all.
Oh, I love it. Before kids and everything else, there were times where Mrs. Kirsch and I went to the fair for dinner.
That seems on brand for you.
I would, it doesn't seem on brand for her, but it does for me for sure. I'd be like,
that's why
I
I
need
said
something
you.
deep fried.
So this year, tell me some of these.
Pickle lemonade is one of them that's going to be available. Recently, so Cheryl's Cookies out of Westerville.
That's probably amazing, actually. It sounds so gross. It's probably amazing.
So Cheryl's actually just released a dill pickle line with pickle buttercream for some of their cookies, but fair vendor Miller & Company is going to offer pickle lemonade. It's either going to be so good or so bad.
Why don't you go test that? Let me know.
Oh, I will. 100%. How about gummy corn dogs?
What?
Okay. The gummy bear guy is going to have corn dog shaped and flavored gummy candies. Sticking with the trend, he'll also have gummy pickles to go along with them. So it's going to be gummies that look and taste like corn dogs.
I may try that.
Really?
Yeah, I may.
Okay.
That's amazing.
I'm doing the pickle lemonade. You're doing the gummy corn dog. Last one on here. Espresso deviled eggs.
Nope. How do you do that?
Did you just gag?
Yes. How do you do that?
You looked like you gagged. It said the Ohio Poultry Association strikes again with some out there takes on the summertime staple planned as its devilishly good stand. Espresso might top last year's cotton candy deviled eggs.
Okay, I would have tried that. I am a sucker for deviled eggs. I love them.
Me too, but I don't know if I want ones that have espresso flavor in them.
No. You know what? I know some people who might try that. So I'll just give it to them and let them be the judge.
You're doing the gummy corn dogs. I'm doing the pickle lemonade, and you let me know if somebody tries the espresso deviled eggs. Seriously, you looked like you gagged when
I can't.
When I said that. Emily, you do this. Mrs. Kirsch does this, both with your phones, and it drives me and your husband crazy.
Is it a woman thing?
So that's what we want to know, if this is a woman thing or if this is just the two of you that do this. Guys, let me know if your wife, girlfriend, significant other, whatever, does this. When news comes across your phone screen, you'll grab your phone and look at it, or at least Mrs. Kirsch does this, and you said you do too. You'll look at it and be like, oh my gosh. And then I say, what? And then she doesn't answer. She goes,
All the time.
this is terrible. What is terrible? Oh no. What? Like, so you do the same thing?
Yeah, and then it usually ends with are you gonna tell me?
Exactly. Like, please tell me what's going on.
I need a guilty sign to put on my, face right now.
So you
'cause that is me.
100% admit to doing that.
I thought I was just listening to myself.
So what is he, like, seriously, my reaction is always that, like, what? What's going on? Are you going to say something more than,
Yeah. What happened? Is everything okay?
And
Is
then-
our child okay? Yeah.
she'll put the finger up to me too. Like, she'll be looking at it. She'll be like, hold on, wait.
I love Mrs. Kirsch. Same.
Like, no, just start,
No,
whatever.
I got to find out all of the information before I tell you.
Well, share it with me as you're finding it out. Be like, here's what the headline says.
A lot of multitasking when I just got this earth-shattering news.
Does he do anything to you that drives you absolutely crazy with his phone, like phone behaviors? Because I know one that I do, and I stopped doing it because she would get mad at me every time.
I would have to really think about that one.
You know what mine was? I would see funny stuff on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and I would turn my phone over and be like, here, watch this video, look at this. And she'd be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I got better things to do.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I also I don't have the attention span a lot every time he catches me to try to watch.
Yep.
Because it's always in the middle of something. Yeah.
Here's what I've learned. With
And then I
that,
get quizzed now,
I
by the
just
way.
share it with her. Like, if I see
Yes.
something funny, I'm like, here, let me just share it with you. You can watch it on your own time.
But he will send it to me now too, but I get quizzed. Like, did you watch that?
Oh.
To make sure I'm not lying.
Oh, wow.
Fine.
Wow.
I do watch it. And sometimes I'm like, I have a lot going on, so I probably forgot what it was about. Which video are we talking about?
That's amazing. But yeah, please stop the, oh my goodness.
I can't commit to that.
Emily, is your son old enough to have discovered screens? Does it happen at 1? I can't even remember.
He will grab our phones, yes. And I take it away instantly.
So what does he do? He just wants to touch it and play with it and
Yes.
whatever.
And then I'm like, you're going to accidentally call 911, so let's not do that.
So
Somehow.
there's a new study that came out about screen time, which I think every parent is just like, so tired of hearing about screen time. A lot of us have just been like, okay, it's going to happen. Let's just let it happen. But what did you find in this?
I found this interesting because it says and I actually truly believe this, limiting kids' screen time to just 3 hours a week, which led to big improvements in their mental health and behavior. So, and the turnaround happened in just 2 weeks. I believe that. I understand, that it's not always going to happen for just 3 hours a week.
Right.
But I mean, they can play outside.
Do you have any idea what your screen time looks like in a week?
I won't check.
You refuse to?
I refuse to check because
You don't even want to know?
Yes, because I use my phone and stuff a lot for work. So I know that factors into it. If I can divide
we're always looking up news and things to talk
Yeah.
about and everything else, and you dig into stuff.
and I'm not happy with how high I know it probably is, but it is what it is.
So
But my brain is already developed.
you know what? We should try and see what happens. Like next week, the two of us just be like, screen time, 3 hours a week, and see what happens to us.
How are you going to be able to do that is what I want to know.
I'll gladly do it.
Okay.
I'll,
All right.
I'll replace screen time with beer time. That's how I'm going to do it. I mean, honestly, that's going to be, hey, okay, instead of Facebook, ice cold Miller Lite, let's go. Kirsch and Emily, last week we got done playing Gen X versus the Millennial, and she was mad. She was mad at me. She's like, I'm coming at you next week, Kirsch. So we do this every Tuesday morning, and it's where we quiz each other on our respective generations and stuff we do or don't know. So is there a theme this week, Emily? You're asking me millennial questions.
I'm just going to call it the millennial era. So I need you to remind yourself of that with these questions, okay?
Okay, let's see. So I got to get best out of 5. We're going to do multiple choice and see if I can get them. Let's get started and see how we do.
All right. So what hit TV show was John Ritter in? 8 Simple Rules, Three's Company, or According to Jim?
Well, if we're going with millennial
Millennial era. Yep.
that is 8 Simple Rules.
Correct.
There you go.
I am so proud of you. And if I didn't just remind you of a millennial era, you probably would have gotten that wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I would have been like, he's in a couple. So, okay.
Yeah. So which beverage company did 50 Cent iconically promote and also own a share in? Powerade, Smart Water, or Vitamin Water?
Powerade, Smart Water, or Vitamin Water? I think it was... Oh, gosh. I think it was Powerade.
No, Vitamin Water.
Oh, I almost went with that. Okay, one for 5. Let's see what we got next.
All right. So which of these is true about the iTunes store prior to 2010?
Okay.
You could not preview songs. You only had a 30-second preview of a song, or you could pick the exact song you wanted to preview, but it was limited to 15 seconds. Spot of a song you wanted to preview, sorry.
I'm not 100% sure what you just asked me, but I'm going to go with the first one. You couldn't preview songs.
No, you can only preview 30 seconds of the song.
Oh, man. Okay. You lost me on that one, so I just took a wild guess. Okay.
Right.
I need to get the next two.
Star 69 allowed you to do what? Dial back the last number that called you, block the last number that called you, or block your number on caller ID.
Dial back the last number that called you.
Yes, I am so proud of you.
All right. I might win. Okay. Last one.
Right.
If I get this, I win this week.
Which frozen pizza brand had this jingle? Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time.
Oh my goodness. Okay. What are my choices?
Pizza rolls, Hot Pockets, or Bagel Bites?
I can sing the jingle. Pizza in the morning. Pizza. Oh, wait. Give me my choices again.
Pizza rolls, Hot Pockets, or Bagel Bites?
Pizza rolls?
No, it's Bagel Bites.
Oh.
Don't worry, I thought it was pizza rolls too.
I almost went with Bagel Bites, and I just lost on Gen X versus the Millennial.
I do what I can.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No